Yeah,
Tracy?
she's ready to go.
She's ready? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the August 16th, 2022 meeting of the Town of Manchester Planning and Zoning Commission. Just for everyone's benefit this evening, there are some technical difficulties here in the room. We have one microphone up here that we're allowed to share, so please be to assure us that you speak up so you're clearly heard over the airwaves. First thing on the agenda this evening is the approval of the June 21st, 2022 minutes. I believe, gentlemen, you have those in front of you.
Yeah, I reviewed these earlier today. I make a motion that the June 21st, 2022 minutes be approved as submitted.
Okay, motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion.
Second's been made. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Zoning Administrator report.
Okay, we have, I want to tell you, we have some new businesses in town. We have, over at the 3000 Manchester Road building, off of 27, is Kindred Treatment Center. And we have, back by Brothers Pizza, he's opened up a Vinnie's Ice Cream and Snowballs.
It's good.
And Equine Meadows is still in review. We haven't really moved any further with that. And we have been given an annexation to review from the council. And this is for what we refer to as the Cook property, but it's 13.9 acres off of Jamer Drive between Southwestern Avenue and Susan Ann. And then I have given you an updated copy of all the projects that we have ongoing, but there's really nothing new on it. That's all I have for you. You can take one of these, Larry, and pass it down.
Very good. Thank you, Michelle. Any questions for Michelle? Okay. Moving on to our town manager. Here in spirit and body. Thank you, Steve.
Yes, isn't that something? Two important dates. We have an ENR upgrade at our wastewater treatment plant. We have a workshop scheduled for Tuesday, August 23rd at 7 p.m. to talk to the engineering firm to see what direction we would like to go into the future. Also, something that involves some of you folks is the work group for the traffic study review for the Lippy Old Town property. And that date is Wednesday, the 31st, and I don't know if the time is.
I think they said 7.
That's what I have.
It's
Yep.
here, yes. That's it. Hopefully you won't see me next month, but chances are you will, so here I am.
Well, you're always welcome,
There
Steve.
you go.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Steve? All right. Councilperson Cuneo is not here. Andrew from the county, how are you, sir?
Doing well, sir, and you?
Can't complain.
Thank you, Michelle, for running around trying to get the technology up so we can have the meeting. Well, thank you, Commission. Just want to give you a brief update what's going on over at the county. The Board of County Commissioners began their review of the text changes to the agricultural and conservation zoning regulations on August 11th. The primary source for this information can be found on the county website. In case anybody's listening, it's www.carrollrezoning.org. That's where the information can be on the comprehensive rezoning. Also, the Department of Planning is currently accepting applications with a deadline of September 1st for the 2022 fall amendment to the Water and Sewer Master Plan. Also, the triennial update for the Carroll County Water and Sewer Master Plan is coming up. Please contact Price with any updates, and those updates are needed ASAP. For the Transportation Master Plan, the Planning Commission will begin reviewing the chapters this month. For the annual report, the Planning Annual Report, which all the towns certify planning commissions once a year, it was certified by the Carroll County Planning and Zoning Commission on June 29th. and sent to the Maryland Department of Planning on July 1st. And lastly, the hazard mitigation plan, the draft should be available in the next 1 to 2 months. If you have any questions, please let me know, Mr. Chair, and if not, I will brief you all again next month.
Sounds good. Any questions?
Can you repeat them? Hazard mitigation plan, what was due?
Well, the hazard mitigation plan, we came up and talked to Rodney. That, nothing is due from Manchester for that. The draft will be published in about 1 to 2 months for review.
Okay.
But nothing no actions required on the town of Manchester's part.
Thank you, Andrew. Pleasure
Thank you,
meeting you
Mr.
tonight, and looking forward to a long working relationship.
Likewise, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you. All right. First item on the agenda after reports is the Maverick Solar Review.
Good evening, gentlemen, Ms. Wilder. We're here to basically pick up on where we left off, so to speak. Initially, I would like to thank you for juggling your agenda on my account. I found out within the past week or so I had to be 2 places at once. I'm not quite as spry as I used to be, but I still can't straddle between Manchester and Hampstead. So. We're here addressing some comments that, as I understand it, arose in June. This is about a landscaping requirement for the Maverick 1 community solar facility. The code, your code, says that as part of your site plan review, you're supposed to address landscaping, and that you're to use the county, well, obviously you use the county code as a model. It says it's supposed to be twice the planning as called for in the county manual. Herein lies the problem. As I believe you talked about last time, Mr. Lamont owns some of the properties around the perimeters of this site. Those owned properties, he has requested that they not be landscaped so that he can continue to utilize the balance of the property. And that area is not where the facility is located, the arrays are located. He's trying to maximize the remaining agricultural utilization of those properties, and it would interfere with that. The standard mentioned in the county code for landscaping is a sufficient degree of opaqueness from the use that's being shielded by the landscaping. It is in essence a site plan question, which you have some measure of discretion in addressing here. What the developer, Maverick 1, is proposing to do, and you were forwarded a sketch, I believe, Friday. It shows a Baltimore gas and electric easement not far from the edge of where the arrays are, running perpendicular to the edge of the property. Now, that's a 15-foot, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ted.
15 foot on each side of the line.
15 feet on each side of the line. It leaves us 11 inches to do landscape. Along the property line is where Mr. Lamont would like not to have the landscape plantings placed. What we've decided to do, and I believe this idea was raised last month, is to use opaque panels in vinyl-clad fencing vinyl clad wire mesh fencing to basically provide actual opacity. There's been a document forwarded to you, actually 3 pages of documents within the past week or so, I understand, that shows you some of the fencing representations, one in a green color, one in black. Now, if the standard that we're supposed to adhere to provide landscaping buffering is a visual buffer and it's supposed to achieve opacity, we submit that the fencing achieves the opacity. Opaque is opaque. It's kind of like some other things. It either is opaque or it's not opaque. So we believe that the protections and the purpose that are sought by the landscaping requirement is being met. The other thing to recall is that with agricultural utilization of the remaining ground, that's going to be not a natural landscaping buffer, but a natural vegetative buffer, particularly when that field's planted in corn. It's probably better than you could get with landscaping, the combination of that and the opaque fencing with the panels. So we submit that along the areas indicated on the sketch, and Ted, why don't you show them, if you would please, exactly what we're talking about. We're asking for you to consider waiving the otherwise applicable site plan review element and condition of the landscaping to be consistent with the wishes of the property owner, who is being protected arguably by that, and also because of the interference with the BGE easement and the town's loop easement for a water line that you're looking for along the boundary of the Lamont property. And we believe this accomplishes the objectives you're looking for, maybe with the intended continued agricultural use better than if we plant a variety of plants on various centers and for only a certain depth from the boundary. If there's any questions, I'll answer them if I can, and Mr. Hastings can help you with any technical concerns you may have about this. Oh, but one more thing. Last week, I spoke with Mr. McCarron about this matter, and I told him what we were proposing. And first of all, he agreed that this is more in the nature of a site plan issue, a landscaping issue in connection with a site plan or subdivision type approval, that he believed you would be able to grant the relief as requested. Now, I don't know if he's talked to Michelle or Steve or anyone since then.
No, I have not had a chance to talk to him because, and then he went on vacation.
He's on vacation.
But my concern was that this whole entire ordinance was written for Mr. Lamont to get the solar project. And when he went to BZA for his conditional use, that was the grounds on which they granted it. So I feel that taking all the landscaping away is not meeting what BZA gave in your approval.
We're not taking it all away.
We are, because as a site plan, landscaping would be on the exterior around the site plan. You're taking all the exterior away from the new homes that are going up and all the existing homes. So I need more guidance from him before I can give a staff recommendation.
Yeah, I can't recall the name of the street.
Crafton.
Crafton Street, there is landscape planting preserved there. That's not a Lamont property. And we're happy to do that. There is also no interference between a proposed city easement and a existing Baltimore Gas and Electric utility easement. That's really the rub we have along that portion of the property, is the presence of the easement is going to cut into a significant amount of acreage take it out of agricultural production.
Yeah, there's still landscaping, bordering the Bader and the Riley properties.
When you mentioned opacity, and you referenced Carroll County code,
Yes.
I haven't looked at it for a while, so I don't know what Manchester code says about landscaping, or does it also just say opacity?
Manchester does not have a landscaping ordinance, as far as I know.
No, we,
But we created something for this, approval for this project, right?
we stated that it had to be twice,
Right.
twice the requirement. And the original plan that was submitted had landscaping all the way up there. And then, as we got their requests to remove their landscaping, they removed it off the plan, but we had not decided whether we were agreeing to that request.
I can appreciate not wanting to lose the agricultural part, but at the same time, I don't want homes there to look out their back door of their deck and see these big black or green panels. It's just not appealing. Whereas we do have an opportunity to put landscaping closer to the property lines, which I think is much more appealing.
Where are you referring to, Commissioner Fowler?
I can The original plan had this shown, and that was removed. As opposed to putting the black or green fencing here, it would be landscaping there.
And you're pointing, for the record, you're pointing to the boundary of the property in the northern, if you will, part of it, the western boundary, to the north along the Hill and Rachel Lee properties?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. We're doing the best we can to please a variety of masters with this. We're trying to find a workable solution for everyone.
There was when we originally put the plan together, we weren't aware that Manchester was asking the property owner of a possible 20-foot easement along that property line to put a water main so they can loop the water main in all their streets. That obviously eats 20 feet into the property of the agricultural use, where you're asking us to put the landscaping. So.
So on this plan, those trees and landscaping is not at the 40-foot line? Not the 20-foot line?
She's showing.
This is your
Yes,
original?
yeah, I'm sorry.
She's showing you.
Yeah, so
That's the one
this,
with the double,
this looks to, yes,
requirement.
and then Commissioner Graham said you could do, limit this to single it out a little bit, but this was on the 40.
right.
And
And that's when Lamont came to us and talked about removing this. He wanted to keep it agricultural, and there's also the 20-foot easement. If he was going to do the landscaping, he would want it along the property line. But being as there's going to be an easement there, or a potential easement there, we can't actually plant in that easement because it defeats the purpose.
Okay, and then this was all removed down here too.
That's his property next to it, so he wanted to remove that so he can continue to pass through there and for agricultural use. So the 3 Russells is his property as well.
This is shown on your one map that I gave you guys that
Yeah.
shows what was proposed and what has changed. Here's- This was original submittal.
I think I might have it right here.
Sorry, these are just those 2 pages, original and new. And Mr. Bowersox, what was the height of the fence? I can't remember.
8 foot. Yeah, on the side that faces the residential property is gonna be an 8-foot tall vinyl coated fence, and we're talking about in that location, putting the slats in the fence for the opacity. And we're gonna let you choose what color you want. We'd have black on black or the black fence with green slats. Figured what might blend in better with the agricultural use.
And what's the height of the actual panels?
The array,
Yes. Will that go above the 8 feet?
There's a potential for it, yes, when it is in the morning and late evening position. Because they move with the sun,
cantilever.
yeah. Single axis trackers.
What was the BG&E right away again?
It's 30 feet wide, it's
30
15,
feet.
yeah, it's 15 feet on each side of where they want to put
Center
it on.
line.
Yep. 30 feet.
So BZA's original approval was based on full landscaping. Do you have your?
Just like, just the same what we put in the letter.
Right.
So knowing that approval was based on that, you're recommending something other than that?
I think it's a fair question whether the approval was based on that. It incorporated that term of your ordinance when it recited the findings and conditions. This situation was unknown at that time. And having been here for that, I can tell you, we never presented this, and never presented this situation. We didn't know that. So it's new. Had we known about it before, we could have raised it at that time, but we didn't. And that's why I'm suggesting this is more in the nature of a landscaping requirement, a site plan condition, than it is a zoning determination. This is not about a setback. This is not about a minimum lot size. It's not about a bulk requirement or any of the other traditional subjects of a variance under the zoning ordinance. This falls squarely within a planning commission's authority to review a plan and make some discretionary modifications and adjustments administratively, if you want to do so. So that's where we are. If you do so, I'm just suggesting this, you will still have complied with your code. Because, as I say, the landscape is a portion of it that's mentioned in your zoning ordinance, but it's for this body to administer on a case-by-case basis.
And I can appreciate what you're suggesting, but personally, if my choice is for those who buy in Riley's Garden, have a choice between walking out there on their back deck and seeing this versus landscaping, I certainly would rather them see landscaping than this. That's not
I think
eye-appealing.
I can appreciate it.
Larry, do you have any questions about this?
I've got some notes.
Okay.
It says, the fence is a 50-foot clearance from the solar panels, 50 feet.
Are you asking a question?
That's what I have a note from last meeting.
Who asked you?
From last meeting, it was said we'd have 50 feet between the solar panels and the fence. 50 feet.
That's number 20. It's,
Perhaps Mr. Hastings can address that.
yeah, the normal distance between a solar panel and the fence customarily is 20 feet. That allows for any maintenance vehicles to get in there and do their thing. We typically don't go more than that. There is some locations along that side of the fence where they couldn't get the panels to come in a straight line per se.
Okay.
It's kind of jagged there.
Right.
It's the reason because where they're tracker panels, you have to put so many panels per line. So you can't just add or one or two on the end of them. They have to be in strings of certain lengths. And that's why it's jagged there. But the distance between the closest point of the panel and the fence is 20 feet.
20 feet. 20 instead of 50. 20 feet. I also have a note that says there'll be some trees planted. There will.
The trees cannot be planted inside the
Yeah.
fence area.
Right.
Yeah.
They were maybe talked about outside, but not inside the fence.
Yeah, outside the fence.
Yeah, well, there's an easement outside the fence.
Oh,
A
okay.
BG easement, or a 30-foot wide easement. And after that, that's in Mr. Lamont's prime farm area.
Okay.
That's what he wants to retain, and that's why we're here, because he wants to retain as much farmland as possible.
Okay.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
You good for Mallory? I'm going to make a motion to table this so we can have full board review. We are missing 2 members tonight. 1 member has recused himself from professional obligations. And I think this is a lot to discuss and a lot of changes, so we will table this till next month. And that'll give Michelle, hopefully our attorney will be back from vacation and he can provide us with his insight that he can into your conversation. We can certainly have a work group meeting either prior to the next meeting to discuss this in full board. So my motion now is to table this to next month for full board review.
I'll second the motion.
Any other discussion? All those,
concur.
I'm sorry? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll see you next month.
Thank you for hearing us,
Yep.
and thank you for accommodating our schedule.
Sure. Good luck. Drive
Thank
safe. All right. Got that's homework. Yeah. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Manchester Elementary School LED sign. This is kind of exciting.
Good evening. I'm Bill Kane. I'm the facilities planner for the school system. The principal for Manchester Elementary is actually on vacation. So I told her I would cover it. My son's just down the road at the high school, so I figured I would be up here anyway.
Threw
so.
you to the wolves.
Yeah. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. That basically, the school has a existing monument sign with the plaque, where they have to change the letters manually. They would like an electronic sign so that they can change the messages from the office. The secretaries are busy during the day, so a lot of times it's a pain, especially in the winter, for them to go out and change the letters. So a lot of the elementary schools across the county and middle and high schools too have gone to electronic signs. So the PTO's raised enough money to buy them it's going to reuse the existing kind of pedestal. It has 1932, but they're just going to put a panel in where the letters are. And you should have I think you have a picture of it. It hasn't officially, this is just a quote from a company. They would have to go, the school would have to go through the procurement process, but we would use this as the basis of what we put out for bids, so that whatever company got it, if they would be proposing a sign that looks like this. So.
Right, we had this discussion a number of months back.
With the high school.
Yeah, with the high school. They came in
Yeah.
and we just raised the issues that we didn't want it to become an advertisement sign for private concerns buying advertisement. And the school system indicated that that wasn't gonna be the case.
Yeah, we don't, that's not something that, I don't believe our board policy even would allow that.
Right.
But it's really just for the school to put messages to, back to school night or field day, things like that.
I don't remember, were those messages gonna be like just stagnant messages, or were they gonna be flashing, rotating different messages, or?
Typically, it's just a static message.
Okay.
They'll put, kind of like they have now with the letters, but they'll just put a couple dates and they'll list what that is.
Okay.
There are times where it will switch messages. Usually at the high school, they have more events, you'll see a high school sign will have one message with certain dates, and then it'll roll over to the next one. But
Right.
at the elementary, it's usually not as elaborate. But, other towns have, and the county even have a standard for so many characters per second or videos, limitations, so that's certainly within your purview, I believe.
Bill, usually when we give the zoning certificate for the approval of the sign, it will have conditions on it for the flashing or the
Okay.
speed of which it changes.
Yeah, we've sort of established a protocol for that, and then we'll usually have like a 60-day period where we just go out and gives us an opportunity to look at the sign once it's installed to make sure that
Sure.
the conditions are, one, being followed, and two, that they're appropriate for that sign.
Yeah, and the certificate, we'll make sure that the school staff who will be operating it, they have that, and then, if you do come out, certainly talk to them just to make sure they're aware of it.
Yeah.
And they, like I said, it's mainly to save them a little bit of effort, time, instead of having to go out and change letters. It just makes it a lot easier for them.
So the principal will be in charge of this project? She will be,
The,
that will be,
the project for installation, or just like the point of contact for?
yeah, point
the
of
town?
contact. Once you get what you're really getting
Right.
and have an installation date, then we need to know so that we can get you.
It's probably, I can talk to her, it's probably easiest to put her down, just because she's right down the street. Than try and get me up here, or, this will only, sometimes our construction department manages signs. I know Jim Marks handled the high school sign, but, typically our maintenance department handles these smaller ones. When the contractor comes out, they're managing the project, but for someone to be a point of contact, I think it's probably best just to use, her name's Catherine Kramer. I'll talk to her. If she doesn't feel comfortable, I can be the contact. But
She's taking care of a couple hundred kids. We're not that bad.
yeah.
She's got us beat by at least, half a mile.
No issues.
No?
I mean, they're utilizing the same location as the current sign.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to adhere to, we'll state in the certificate, they're going to adhere to our flash,
I think we just want you to come back when, go ahead and get your stuff. Just bring us back the final specs and the final, what exactly you have with the, final dimensions, lights, the whole 9 yards once you put it out, because that's what we're more concerned about with traffic going up and down York Street, the look as the sign
So-
changes, excuse
So
me.
you'll wanna see the award of bid.
Yeah, who does it, what they propose, and all
So
the
the-
technical specs.
The thing with the sign is just typically, they can typically do a lot more, they kinda come standard somewhat standard, and they can do a lot more than we'll use them for. If there's something you don't want it to do, it's more of a matter of making sure that the operators know
Right.
not to do that. So I can't guarantee that the sign that we buy won't be able to do some of the things that you don't want to occur, just because they typically have that ability.
Right, but the certificate will limit what they can do.
Right.
Like with the other signs.
But we can certainly do that. The size of this it will have to go to a Board of Education meeting for bid award.
Mhm.
So it'll be, awarded at some point, probably this fall or winter. But after that, they award bid, we can certainly come back.
Sounds good. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know, what do you think Mr. Paraboy would say?
I mean, being flashy.
That's right. I can hear it now. God love her. Remember the old the shirts with her bulldog on it? All right. Any other public comment? Well, that cleared out quick. One motion to, all right, anything?
That swan's still gonna be swimming for a little while, so we'll,
What's,
we all appreciate what you're doing for the town and not leave them in a bit of a bind. You didn't have to do that, but it is greatly appreciated and just speaks to the type of person you are. So,
Very good, I appreciate that.
yeah.
I'm here every day.
And you survived carnival season just fine.
I did, that was very successful. We had a very successful year.
It was a good
Good.
carnival. It was a
Good.
good carnival.
It's a good one.
It was very good.
Like I
All
said,
right,
we'll
so-
never be able to replace Steve, but maybe somebody will fill his seat.
You know, that's right, only fill the seat, not replace it.
Everybody replaced.
So, this is a lot the Maverick Solar one's a lot to take in. I believe that Councilman Cuneo and, Commission Member Graham would have a lot of input. And so, our next meeting is when?
September 20th.
So are we able to do a work session prior? Is that allowed?
Yes, we can do a work session, we just advertise that for having a work session.
All right, why don't we do a 6 o'clock work session on the 20th? Everybody can sit down and hash this out. And then, as the motion stated, we can make a full board decision with what happens. And I'd like to hear from our attorney based on this sudden conversation.
I know Tom wouldn't have a problem coming out.
Yeah, I would like to hear what his take on it is.
Correct.
And we can have a work session and everybody get their feelings in, that way we know.
Right before the meeting?
Yeah, that way we can give them an answer in the meeting.
Does
And we
that
can-
time work for everybody? An hour before?
Well, it's not affecting me because I can't comment anyway, so.
Well, see if it
Well,
does.
I
So, yeah,
will.
just
Yeah,
see what
Bob,
everybody.
it could be problematic for Bob because he's coming from Montgomery County.
Good point.
I'll
Sugar
check
and
with
spice.
everyone.
Or maybe we can do it Monday night, or is the 19th meeting here?
No,
Or if, like, Monday night at 7 or 8, 7:30 is better before the meeting. But I would like to have a work session, just for this, hash this out, where we want to go, and then give them our decision on the 20th as they rightly deserve.
Work session 19th, okay?
So see which ones, I'd rather pack it all into one day, but if the 19th is, well, Bob can do,
I'll
I
check with
completely
the other
understand.
two.
Yep.
And then we will need to get together on the annexation too.
Oh, hell, you might as well just try to do it the 19th and we'll do both. How long do we have before we have to make a decision or send recommendations?
We've got, we've got time.
We got time,
I mean,
okay, so let's just get let's get the Maverick Solar one done, and then everybody can start looking at it doesn't appear on face value to be that big of an issue, but then again, to me, it's just another block of land. They're gonna build on it? I'm assuming?
Yeah, but in a nutshell, what they came in here with is an annexation of the property, which we currently have in the MGA in the R40,000, and they're requesting it to come in, which we had, it's in the R40, we put it in our MGA in the R20,000. They're requesting to come in R10,000.
Let's just pack 600 more houses into a bag,
Yeah,
you know, a
we'll
paper
take a look
bag.
at that all
Yeah,
together
they
if I
wanna
can
get
on the
40
19th.
They probably want to get 35 or 40 units in there. Who's, I didn't look at the paperwork yet.
The owners are in there, it's a group called Patapsco something. And, all right, so we want me to try to schedule both together.
So Patapsco,
If you can,
91
if it
LLC.
turns out to be the 19th, I think the biggest discussion point will be Solar Maverick, but then we can also throw in the annexation and get it done. But,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just amazed at the amount of stuff we're trying to pile in, and with our traffic problem already. And we're gonna hear about that on the 31st.
Yeah, and then we still have the issue of that big development up in Pennsylvania that's,
So, we heard any more from them about that?
you know, what's-
I have not.
The farm equipment went to auction. Now, the fields are in plant, they've been planted.
well, they'll keep
corn's-
planting them until they're ready to
Right,
go.
but how can we reach out to them to get an update? Greg, can-
Actually, I'm looking over at Andrew.
Andrew,
It might
yeah.
It might be good if the county would reach out to West Manheim.
or do you know what we're talking about?
I do not, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
That's all right. Alex, Mr. Chair makes me sound
Okay.
important. I'm just one of the
Alex.
guys, really.
He makes us call him Mr. Chairman.
No, they call me chief. That's a whole nother ballgame. So going 30 north turns into 94.
Yes.
The farm that sits all around the Pleasant Hill Volunteer Fire Department, there's
On
a
the-
big open field on the left and a
Backs up-
farm,
backs
yeah,
up to the,
watershed.
Yep.
So that's all, we were given a report by your predecessor that Marty Hill, one of our local business establishments, is buying or has bought that property to develop. The Penn Township Planning and Zoning Commission and Traffic Study Group was kind enough to forward information down to Price, who gave it to us. So this development, if it were to go in, is a high density, is a typical Marty Hill, high density.
It's like
high
250,
dense
300
community, yeah.
units. It's huge.
So the point being, with us we are really trying, with the staff's help, to stay on top of our developments and traffic. You well know the lines that form. If this in my, just speculation only, but with that size development, that's going to increase the southward and northward traffic, which now, when school starts, we're gonna see backups into the traffic circle in Greenmount, and now we're gonna be back to probably, past, Highs going north. So, it's an issue.
Totally understand.
But we can't, I mean, only we can do is be cognizant of it. I don't think we can go there and stomp our feet and say, no, that's not our business. But we would like to keep on top of that as we start to progress in these little infills and other large developments and look at traffic flow through town.
Alex, I'll look at that when I get in the office tomorrow.
Thanks.
And if need be, I'll see about reaching out.
Yeah, that would be
anyone
great,
up in
because
Pennsylvania.
I'd really like to keep tabs on that one.
Because this, you know, I think we've done a really good job of keeping things in order, understanding where we're going and what's going to happen. This is definitely not a big deal in the scheme of things, but it is a curveball that I don't think we expected.
No,
So,
it could be another 40.
yeah, another 40
units.
homes coming out Charmel
Right.
Drive or Southwestern or wherever we're, you know, there's no room.
And that's between the fire hall and like Deer Road,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, on either side,
both sides.
on both sides.
Yeah,
Oh,
if
wow.
I'm
I'll
not
show you-
mistaken, we're still in a meeting, you know.
That's okay, I can show them the map.
Yeah, but Linda, I think if you're not mistaken, it came from, Manheim reached out to Carroll County to see if they had any comments. And let us
Did it go
know.
to SHA? I think SHA got their hands on it somewhere, yes, but I.
So they're familiar with it, but we don't know
Okay.
where it is anymore, where it is in the process.
Yeah, where it is in their planning
Right,
process, we
right.
don't know.
So yeah, it's between, on the, what would be the west side, it's between Deer Road and Tollgate. So if you're looking at the map as you're going north. So there's Deer Road, and this is the whole field, because impounding dam, this goes into the watershed. And then this Pleasant Hill Road will be an access point to the other side of it, and it comes all the way down here to Musselman Road. So this whole area, and then this whole area would have development in it. And
Okay.
a mix of row homes, townhomes, whatever you wanna call them, single-family homes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just kinda wanna keep that on top of
Yeah.
while we're looking at all this stuff, please.
And I'll look at that tomorrow, Alex.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Well, I guess we should adjourn.
Okay.
I'll make
yeah,
a
I mean-
motion that the meeting be adjourned.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn and come back on the 19th of September.
I will second.
Good night.